What's up guys, you're welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll show you how to make a hooded kimono. For this project we need 2.5 yards of any fabric of our choice. We need a sewing machine, we need thread, we need a measuring tape, we need tailor chalk, and we need a pair of scissors. So let's get started. So first you fold your fabric into 4 places like this, and then you take the desired length. You take your desired length. For mine, I'm using 50 inches. And then I added 4 inches extra for seam allowance. And then the next thing is to take the shoulder measurement. So I'll be taking my shoulder measurement, divide by 2. So I have 15 and I'll divide it by 2. So I have 7.5. And then next, I'll use whatever I have left as my extended sleeve. So the next thing is to take the armhole measurement. So I'll bring my tape down. I'll be using 12 for this. 12 inches. So I'm going to mark a line here. And then I'll take my hip measurement. So for this project, we're using the hip measurement. You divide your hip measurement by 4. So for mine, I have 10.5. And then I'll add 4 inches extra. So now I have my bust line. So this is my hip measurement plus 4 inches. So I'll come down here and I'll make a curved line here. And I'll draw this line down to the end of my dress, or to the end of my jacket or my kimono. And then on this line, I'll come down by 1 inch. I'll come down by 1 inch. For the neckline, I'm using 3 inches. So I'm going to be marking, I'll mark the front and the back. I'll mark 3 inches, and then I'll mark 1 inch. I'll go ahead and draw a curved line here. And take it down here. So I'm going to cut across this line, and then cut it down like this. And then down like this. So I'll cut across the red line down to the end of the dress. So this is what I have. The next thing is to take the front piece, separate the front from the back piece. I'll use 8 inches only for the front part. We've used 1 inch for the back. I'll use 8 inches. And then I'll draw the V. And then I'll cut across the red line. Here's what I have. And then you cut them into two parts. With the right sides facing each other, you join the shoulders together. The back shoulder to the front shoulder. You sew together. And then the other shoulder, you sew it together. I've joined the shoulders with 1/2 inch. So the next thing is to join the sides of the dress, starting from the sleeves. I'm going to sew it down to the end of the dress. I'll do it on the other side too. You sew it from the sleeves down to the end of the dress. So after joining the sides of the dress, you can go ahead and hem the sleeves. But for mine, I want my sleeve to be a bit longer. So I'll go ahead and just measure what I have. I have about 9.5 inches. So I'll cut a pieces of 9.5. I'll fold it like this and cut the pieces of 9.5 with some extra allowance. And then the width of this is about 6 inches or 6.5. I've cut 2 pieces, so I'll just go ahead and join it on the sides. But for yours, you can skip the step if you're okay with the sleeve. I'll go ahead and join it on the sides with the right sides facing each other. So here's the sleeves, and then you fold this, and then you pin the stitched part on the underarm, and then just pin it around. You pin it around. You pin around, and then you go over to your sewing machine. You sew it together. You do it on both sides. You pin it around and stitch it together. So here's the sleeves. It's all done. So the next is to move to the neckline. For the neckline, I cut 21 inches length and 16 inches width, and then I cut two pieces of it. So I'm going to take the neckline and I pinned it together like this, and then I'll place it on these pieces just to mark out the neckline. And then you place it. I folded my dress into 2 places, and then I took the neckline. Here's the front and here's the back. So I'll place it like this and then place it like this. And then I'll mark out the line. Listen. I'll mark out the line. So here's what I did. I have 2 pieces of this, and then I folded my dress into 2, and then I'll take the neckline. I placed it like this, pinned it together so it doesn't move around, and then I placed it like this, and then I placed it like this to mark out both the back and the front neckline. So I'm going to cut out the hoodie like this, because I want it to be a bit draped. I'm going to cut it out like this. I'm going to just draw the lines. So you follow the yellow line this time, from the red down. And then for the top part, I'm just going to curve it like this. So I'll show you when I cut it out, so you can see the shape. So here's the shape of the hood. So all I did was to place my neckline on my pieces and then just mark out the neckline shape. on the pieces, and then I cut it out, and then I left this place for my drape. So I marked a notch here. So I'm going to sew around this place down to this end. So I'm sewing from here down to the end. I'll stop at the notched part. After sewing, you notch it around like this. And then you can top stitch it if you like. You go ahead and make a stitch on the top, but I'll skip that stage. So next you mark the midpoint of your neck area and you notch it like this. So I got that by folding my neckline like this, and then you pin it. You pin it to the back of the hoodie. You pin it together. So I have the neckline, the marked point, and then the back of the hoodie too, the joint part. And then I'll pin it together. And then you pin it around. And then after pinning, you go ahead and sew. You sew the hood to the neckline. So here's what I have. If you have a serger, you go ahead and serge the rough edges. But if you don't, you just go ahead and top stitch it. So lastly, you just go ahead and hem your dress. You hem the slit side and then you hem the bottom too. And that's it for this dress. So here's the hooded kimono. Please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for notifications of new videos. I love you for watching. See ya.